Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out Am I the A-hole? Story 1. AITA 4. Invalidating someone's trauma. The other day I, M25, went on a date with this girl I met off Tinder named Jenny, F24. For some context, I'm white and Jenny is Korean. We're both born and raised in the US. During the date, things were going decently, but I began to pick up signs that Jenny was mainly into me because of my race, so I decided to broach the subject and asked her if my race played into her agreeing to go out with me. She said yes, and added that she only dates white guys. This led into a rant about how Asian men were all misogynists and assholes, and how she'd never date one in her life, even if they met all of her other prerequisites, e.g. in good shape, stable career. I was naturally put off by this, but since we'd started eating already, I didn't want to waste my dinner, so I decided to stay. I told her that mindset is unhealthy and borderline racist. Then she countered with how this was her experience with her abusive father and how I wouldn't know what she was talking about. I responded that while I was sorry her father abused her as a child, that wasn't an excuse for her current mindset, and that if you see a random Japanese guy walking on the street and assume he's an abusive POS, you're the one with the problem. Jenny then yelled at me for invalidating her trauma and stormed off, leaving me with the bill. Story 2. AITA for wanting to spend time with my friend when he comes over. My 17F friend, 17M, keeps coming over to my house and then getting on my computer to talk to his boyfriend and play video games. I've brought up before how I don't like when he does that, because I feel excluded, and he came over to my house to hang out with me. When I told him that, he told me that he is his boyfriend's only friend, and that his boyfriend gets lonely, so we decided to do a speaker call, so I could talk to both of them, while they played video games together. He has only done that once, and is now on my computer talking with his boyfriend, and his Discord friends while I am sitting in my living room. I don't know if I'm being selfish, or whatever, but I just feel that you say you come to my house to hang out with me because we're friends, but I'm not in the room and you only noticed that 30 minutes into playing, and you should tell me if you only came over for my computer, and to get away from your parents. We also have a friend hangout, with the whole group, and he came over 3 hours early to help me and teach me about the game we're going to play, but as soon as he came through the door, he got on my computer, and it has been an hour. AITA for wanting him to talk with me? Story 3. AITA for not wanting to help color my mom's very thick hair. My mom, 55, has a ton of white hairs. In fact, I'm pretty sure her whole head would be white if she stopped dyeing her hair. Every other week she asks me to dye it to her natural color, medium brown, but it's really tiring to dye a whole head of waist-length thick, straight hair from root to tip. And sometimes, I'm really tired and not in the mood for it. And the fact that she just expects me to do it is honestly pissing me off. AITA for refusing to help her dye her hair and letting her do it on her own? Story 4. AITA for warning that a cease and desist will be sent out if my deadbeat's widow doesn't leave me alone. My deadbeat was out of my life by the time I, 21M, was 1. My mom married my dad when I was 18 months old and he adopted me. Apparently deadbeat married a few years ago and adopted his wife's daughter, and then he dropped dead earlier this year. The widow was told about me and she decided I would become her daughter's big brother and basically act as though my deadbeat was my dad in any kind of way. She went through a whole ordeal to find me and she started reaching out to me on Facebook. When I blocked her there, she found another social media platform and blocked me there as well. Then she tried to get my mom to talk to me and then my younger siblings, and most of my siblings are minors. One of my siblings has an art page where they post stuff and they had to close that because she was trying to access them there, and yes, they are a minor. I have zero interest or desire to meet this child or this woman. I'm sad for a kid who lost the only dad they knew, and as someone who was chosen and adopted by my dad and would be inconsolable if I lost him, this child and I have no reason to have contact. This woman will not stop saying I need to have a relationship with her child though. I ended up unblocking her and sent a message back that if she did not stop I would consult with an attorney and have a cease and desist sent to her and that I will escalate things more if she does not leave me alone. She responded back that I should have some compassion for her daughter and threatening her with legal action is wrong given their recent loss. AITA. Story 5. Wibta if I don't want to go to husband's family Christmas. My mom died 2 months ago, my dad had to go to memory care the same week. Dad is not doing well, I visit every day. I am an only child. Sometimes, I become a hyperventilating ball of snot tears. My husband lost his dad in February, his mom died a long time ago, and he rightfully wants to go to his big family Christmas party, and I am afraid all I will do is cry in a corner tons of guilt about leaving dad, still grieving mom. I am urging him to go overnight for his party by himself, he does not want to go without me, says I can read a book or something during the party. I do not want to be the drag on a nice party. Wibta if I want to stay home and he won't go? Story 6. AITA for writing about my ex in my private journal and my BF accidentally read it. Long story short, I had this ex-BF from years ago. However, the breakup process was really painful and it's not easy to forget. I was in therapy and consuming meds and my therapist told me to write a diary as a form to pour out my thoughts. So I did. And then 2 years in relationship with my boyfriend, I weirdly relapsed, so I wrote in my diary about how I wonder how my ex is doing, and I wish the hurt will go away, etc. etc. Even some romantic things I realized is not right to write once I became conscious. Of course I didn't mean it all because well, I relapsed. I was thinking to rip out the page after I wrote it, but then I thought that would just mean I'm invalidating my own feelings and I'm self-sabotaging, so I didn't. And then one time my boyfriend was looking for papers to do his work and he accidentally found my diary. Read my entry, that entry I just told, it if he read another. I don't know, I'm not sure. In one hand I feel betrayed because he read my whole private entry. But in the other hand I feel bad because I feel his hurt. And then he broke up with me. Now I'm left wondering if it's all my fault. I feel like crap and keep blaming myself for pouring my thoughts about my ex despite having a boyfriend. I keep thinking I'm emotionally cheating on him. Story 7. AITA for not giving my neighbor rides from the train station. Me, 26M, and my wife, 25F, moved to this new neighborhood a year ago and met our neighbors. We became really good friends, even invited them over for Christmas last year. We've done parties together and Halloween. A couple months ago, the husband was working overnight and couldn't pick up his wife from the train station. He said his wife had pain in her leg and could not walk back home and that the Ubers kept cancelling. Our train station is 15 minutes away walking and about 4 minutes drive. They asked us if we can pick his wife up for a week as he was only working a week overnight, on which we agreed without a problem since we didn't have anything planned. A week goes by and we picked her up. Me and my wife took turns when I was busy. After the first week picking her up, they asked us again the next week if we could do the same. They didn't specify for how long, they just asked the next Monday, to which we agreed no problem. Then Tuesday, they asked the same as well as Wednesday. At this point, it has been 1 week and a half or 8 full days that we picked them up. Again, not a problem if we're free. Turns out, on Thursday we had planned to meet with friends at the same time where we had to pick her up. So we told them that we were not able to pick her up that day. That was the last time they asked us to pick her up. Ever since then, 2 months ago, they have been indifferent with us. We have invited them multiple times to come over for barbecue, to which they've declined and always claim they're busy. We saw them on the backyard one time and we could tell they were being different with us and not acting in the same friendly manner. AITA for not giving her a ride because we had plans? Story 8. AITA for missing my best friend's party to celebrate the birth of her baby. My best friend had a baby 5 months ago. Being a relatively new mum myself, I helped her so much after she had the baby. She suffered from postpartum depression and I helped her through the worst of it and I got her the professional help she needed. I have always gone above and beyond for her. A few weeks ago she had a party to celebrate the birth of her baby boy. I didn't attend because I was going through a really hard time in life. I was getting an abortion the day after the party. I was mentally not up to it. Anyway, she was really mad at me for not coming. I understand she would be upset because I only messaged her after the party was over to apologize for not attending. That wasn't right. I just really wasn't in a good place and I was busy with my own child, so I forgot to say anything until afterwards. But she just stopped talking to me, at the time I needed her most. I am having a hard time believing this was as terrible as she is making it out by just stopping communicating with me. She said she needs space from me. AITA for not attending? Story 9. AITA for not coming to school tomorrow and leaving my friend along during lunch. Tomorrow is the last day of school before Christmas break and I planned not coming in that day since I'm doing nothing in all of my classes. I have 5 friends who I eat lunch with, but unfortunately, one is at a field trip, one has gym that day, and me and another girl isn't coming into school that day, which leaves us one friend alone. I pulled 2 all-nighters because all my teachers pushed the tests to yesterday and today, and now I'm just tired and I don't want to worry about having to wake up early, 7:25 am, to go to school for another whole day, 7 hours. The problem is, the friend that is going to be alone tomorrow is practically begging for me to come to school tomorrow because she doesn't want to be alone. I understand. I wouldn't want to be alone too. But I particularly don't think it's that bad to be alone for one day, and I even offered to FaceTime her during that time so that she doesn't feel too alone. But she begging and begging and begging to the point it's become annoying, and at one point she got mad at me and, jokingly I guess, wished I failed the test I pulled the all-nighter for, which really pushed me to the edge. Am I the asshole for not coming into school for the 40 minutes lunch period? Should I just go to school tomorrow? Story 10. AITA, I feel like I'm being punished for taking up for myself. Hey peeps, so I've been working at a great location for the area. I have a 30 to 40 minutes commute, but it's an employee-owned establishment and I was brought in to operate a lift and showed up a day late. Everything was to begin on a Friday, and when I showed up they informed me that I was to be there yesterday for their training for a forklift. Anyway, the main guy caught wind of this and he worked me into another position and was to get in on next training. Every 2 weeks they do one, so right before my 90 days, I'm already a full employee. Benefits from day 1, so 90 days only really brought vodka time. I'd been sent home one day due to overstaffed for budget. I understand this place is a revolving door, and next day I go into our meeting before our shift and our sup is telling us that a few will be going to B shift. Mind you, I'd just had an interview with B shift's supervisor and team lead 2 to 3 weeks before. Things went great. He told me I've seen 8 for this position and it's down to you and another person, but I'll reach out in a couple days and let you know either way. And the following day after being sent home I come into meeting before shift and supervisor wasn't there conveniently, and my team lead comes to me and states, "Hey man, we're down. I don't wanna send anyone home today. If you would do what you do back here, detailed cleaning and blow everything down as we produce sheets of wood, it gets dusty." An hour later he comes back and he's like, "Hey man, we're sending you and this other guy, been there a couple weeks, to B shift and we're overstaffed again. You mind to go on home?" And I'm like, I was just the last one to get sent home. It's supposed to rotate, and along with making my commute be worth it, I'd like to work my buddies for a full 12 this last time. So he's like, "Alright, no problem." I'll be damned if he doesn't come back telling me to hit the road. So I'm getting my shit together, and my buddy that had been alongside of me the whole time was like, "Bro, you handle that so much better than I would have. I would have told them I ain't going to another shift." I responded, "Bro, I ain't got it like that." That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.